welcome home. And how do we make sure that when we're planning to prevent the homelessness, right, that we're doing it for all, that entire unit?
Thank you for that question. Don't know the exact number, but I do know that through our office on more than one occasion, or two or three or four occasions, it is very hard to find transitional housing or shelters for families. One of the things that we did, we put them up in a hotel, and we pay for that hotel. We try to get them a voucher, and once they get that voucher, it's just a matter of time before they get housed. I had mentioned earlier there was a family of 7 that fled Florida. It was a domestic abuse situation, and she came to us for assistance. We put her in the Farrington Hotel, I believe it is, and she was there from February till May. So she finally got a house where she could have for a family of 7. And we work with the Department of Veteran Services at the state level because of Chapter 115 to get prior approval to get them to be able to pay for the hotel stay. But that's what we do in our office. We actually we pay for their housing, make sure that they have a place to stay, and that the family gets a hot meal every night.
Yeah, no, I think it's important, and when we are building, if we're not building for veterans with families, the ripple effect of that homelessness impacts a lot more than that individual person.
So to clarify, though, units at Brighton Marine, I do have the bedroom breakdowns here. There were 9 studios. This is the 102 units that Tom referred to. There were 9 studios, 37 1-bedrooms, 26 2-bedrooms, and 8 3-bedrooms. So there were some larger units part of that development. You're right, the efficiency units were for single adults, and some of those were set aside for women. I don't know how many, was it
we
6?
have 1 floor dedicated for women.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, more will open up, and there seems to be more homeless veterans, males than females right now.
And I will say, though, the mobile vouchers, like the VASH voucher or the vouchers that flow through D&D, those will be flexible based on household size. So, you know, they have to be found on the private market. But if a veteran receives a VASH, if the head of household was a veteran, then the voucher then will cover the entire family.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Edwards. At this time, I want to open it up to any public testimony from anyone here. If anyone would like to testify, I don't think anyone has signed in, but if you came after it started, you're more than welcome to testify. As Tom Lyons mentioned, a good mutual friend is here, is Tony Molina with the Puerto Rican veterans in the South End, and thank you to Tony and all the Puerto Rican veterans for your outstanding service, but also, Tony, for always being there for our veterans and military families. We really respect the great work that you've done across our city. Would you like to testify, Tony? Tony, you can go to that one over there. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and Ed, councilors, all the great friends in front here. I just have a very small concern, and this is regarding non-English speaking veterans.
Right.
As you all know, Puerto Ricans are American citizens. We are American citizens. A lot of the veterans who served in Puerto Rico were not bilingual. One of the problems, and one of the things I've always said, is when we joined, they never asked us, do you know how to speak English? All they said was, do you know how to use your finger? Right. And we always said, yes, we can pull, you know, and Tom knows, we are very good, especially Marines. Hurrah, brother. And since Maria, about a year and a half ago, we've had quite a few veterans come up to the state, especially Massachusetts, because they know that Massachusetts is probably the best state in the nation that take care of veterans, and Boston is the best city, in my opinion, that take care of our veterans. But we have a lot of Puerto Rican veterans who are living with families because they have no place to go. They're not bilingual. And what I would love to have the city of Boston, the Veterans Department, and the state is do an outreach for all these veterans that are living with parents or with friends, but have no way of knowing that there are a lot of services available. So I would recommend that there be an outreach in Spanish done to the Puerto Rican veterans who are here. And just a very curious data, Puerto Rico, and this came out about 10 years ago, Puerto Rico has more veterans per capita than any other state.
Wow.
Has more killed in action than any state per capita, and more Purple Hearts per capita than any state. But unfortunately, we're not recognized, and this is not a political meeting, so I'm not going to say what I want to say. But we'll say that personally. But I hope that that will happen, and that these Puerto Rican veterans who are living with relatives or with friends, or we don't even know where they are now. I just got a call from Puerto Rico to see if a person from Arecibo, who supposedly left a week ago, they haven't heard from. He was coming to Boston. We haven't heard from him. We don't know where he's at. But I hope that we can do an outreach and, you know, tell these Puerto Rican veterans that we do care for them, and that we will take care of them. And by the way, Tom, you returned home 50 years ago. Next Tuesday will be my birthday. It'll be 53 years since I got shot in the head in Vietnam. So that's why I say it's my birthday, because I was born practically that day. But thank you, and again, it's an honor, a pleasure always to be here, and with people like you folks who care for veterans. Thank you much.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you for your service. Keep just talking, it comes on.
There it is. All
See?
right. Tony Molina, thank you very much for saying that. As a Puerto Rican veteran myself, with roots in Puerto Rico, I speak Spanish también. Yo hablo español, eso sabe. But I do want to get with you and sit down with you. I do want to reach out to those Puerto Rican veterans and to let them know that that as far as we're concerned, that they are now Boston residents, and we're going to take care of them. So we'll talk and discuss and see where we could do the outreach and to get those Puerto Ricans together and let them know that we got services for them.
Thank you, Robert. And I had the opportunity when I was on active duty at Joint Task Force Guantanamo. The National Guard unit that was activated that provided security there was the Puerto Rican Army National Guard, and they were, I became great friends with them. I served with them for 13 months, and outstanding soldiers, outstanding Americans, and always there for everybody, and real team leaders and compassionate people. I'm also proud to represent a huge Puerto Rican community in Boston as well, and but we have the highest respect for you, Tony, and the tremendous work that you've done across our city. And Robert, when that meeting is scheduled, could I also be included when you talk to Tony?
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't think anyone is here to testify. With that, I will ask Councilor Garrison, maybe we can give closing comments.
I guess what I would like to say is that I hope that we are working to prevent veterans from becoming homeless, and I will do my part as an at-large counsel. I will do my part. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Garrison. Councilor Edwards.
Just thank you again for your already service and your reservice again to make sure veterans are treated with the dignity and respect that they deserve.
Thank you, Councilor Edwards. I want to say thank you to Mayor Walsh and his team for outstanding work in the city and across the state on helping our veterans and military families. I say across the state as well because Mayor Walsh also provided strong leadership as a state legislator on military family issues. Lila, thank you for your work on housing issues and for your leadership. Robert, thank you for being here with us and for your outstanding service for our country. Meredith, and to our friends across the street, you're doing outstanding work, and please know that the City Council is always here for you and for your team, and whatever we can do to be of assistance. And I also want to say thank you to my good friend Tom Lyons, someone I always respected and admired. He was my Uncle Dennis's best friend growing up in South Boston. They were both Vietnam veterans together. And so I want to say thank you, Tom, for your leadership on veterans issues, and also for being a good friend of mine as well. So I'm going to ask if we keep this hearing in committee, and maybe we can follow up maybe about 5 or 6 months from now, and we can talk more about this important issue. I also want to say thank you to Councilor Garrison for calling this hearing, and I want to say thank you to Councilor Edwards for your leadership and Councilor Garrison for your leadership on veteran and military family issues across our city. Thank you, and this meeting is adjourned.
City Councilor. Today is Thursday, May 23rd, and we are here with our good friends from Emergency Medical EMS Services. Yeah. Happy EMS Week first. I'd like to remind folks this is a public hearing being broadcast and recorded on Comcast Channel 8, RCN 82, Verizon 1964, and streamed at boston.gov/city-council-TV. I'd ask everyone in the chamber to silence their electronic devices. There will be public testimony taken at various stages throughout the hearing. There is a sign-in sheet to my left by the door. I ask that you sign in, state your name, affiliation, residence, or check the box yes if you wish to testify. There are numerous ways to testify. You can attend a public hearing such as this one and sign up, as I just stated. You can email the committee at ccc.wm@boston.gov. You can mail the committee at Committee on Ways and Means, Boston City Council, 5th floor, Boston City Hall, Boston, Mass. 02201. Or you can come to a hearing dedicated to public testimony on Tuesday, June 4th from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., and we will stay as long as necessary to make sure that everyone is heard on the budget. As I said earlier, we are here with Boston EMS as it pertains to the FY20 budget review of dockets 0622 through 0625. Orders for the FY20 operating budget, including annual appropriations for departmental operations, annual appropriation for the school department, appropriation for other post-employment benefits, and appropriation for certain transportation and public realm improvements, as well as dockets 0626 through 0628. Capital budget appropriations, including loan orders and lease purchase agreements. I am joined by my friend from Dorchester, City Councilor at Large, Anissa Sabi George. I have letters from colleagues who are unable to attend, whose letters I will read into the record. Dear Councilor Siomo, I regret that I will not be in attendance in today's hearing on dockets 0622 through 0628 FY20 EMS budget due to a family commitment. I want to say for the record that it has been an honor to work with Boston EMS over the course of my tenure on the Boston City Council. You are the finest EMS service in the country, and I am proud to have worked with you. Signed, City Councilor District 5, Tim McCarthy. Dear Chair Siomo, I regret that I am unable to attend the EMS budgetary hearing due to work-related travel. I would like to thank EMS for their critical work and specifically note that East Boston is thrilled to have a second ambulance available to the area. Thank you. Please read this into the record. Regards, Lydia Edwards, Boston City Councilor, District 1. And finally, dear Mr. Chair, due to the work-related travel, I regret that I am unable to attend today's hearing of the Committee on Ways and Means on dockets 0622 through 0628, the FY20 budget for Boston's EMS department. My staff will be in attendance, and I look forward to reviewing the records of this hearing. Sincerely, Kim Janey, Boston City Councilor, District 7. And I will just, before I turn it over, say similar that we are very proud of the work that you and all the men and women that are out in the field today or at home resting up for their shift, that we owe them a debt of gratitude for the fine work that they do, great reflection on all of our public safety first responders in the city of Boston, and for your leadership, Jim, has been exemplary, and it's been an honor for me to work with you as well. So thanks for being here today, and it's all yours.
Okay. Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chair and Councilor St. George. We're happy to be here today. We're happy to entertain any questions you have related to our operations, to our budget, our plans, initiatives, our performance. And with me today is Laura Siegel. Laura's our Chief of Staff at Boston EMS. And we also have some of the members of command staff and our budget office, as well as public health, who are available should we need to reach out. But I think we should be well in hand there today. Thanks. And so for opening statement, all I really have is what was on the slide deck there, which I think you have hard copies now. Mm-hmm. Okay, because we have some technical issues. Yeah. So I'll just go through it quickly. Oh, and first of all, and also I do much appreciate the letters from the councilors who couldn't be here today. I don't remember ever hearing that before when somebody didn't make it. So that was very nice sentiment as well. Well accepted by us. Councilor McCarthy was particularly good over the years. I don't think he ever missed a graduation or award ceremony or anything like that. He wasn't exaggerating how much pride he took in the service, and it was well felt. And Councilor Edwards and Janey have been very good to work with as well too. And she's been working. Councilor Edwards has been really helping us a lot with Charlestown as well as East Boston coverage issues. So we appreciate that. And just one more thank you on that. Yesterday, I missed the resolution that you offered on commending EMS Week, but that's because we were at the East Boston event and ran a little bit over, and some obligations there kept me from coming back lights and siren.
You had a worthy stand-in.
Yeah. No, but thank you very much, and that was well received as well. And so I'll just start off as we get into just sort of the end of National EMS Week, and you all marked it yesterday. Thank you. And City Hall last night was lit up in orange and blue. Looked very nice, and we appreciate that as well. We have a couple of more events left. Principally tomorrow, we're having a blood drive that we're running up at our headquarters, where our training division is tomorrow. So that'll be probably the last official event that we have scheduled for EMS Week. So I'll give you just a quick overview that was on slide 1 about Boston EMS, and that we're a bureau of the Boston Public Health Commission. We are a 2-tiered system. We offer basic life support and advanced life support. We in 2018, our volume numbers were that our call volume was 126,419 clinical incidents, and that required 154,417 ambulance responses, because sometimes you just have to send more than one unit to a call. That resulted in 85,697 transports. And so on a typical day, on an average day, that could be 350 calls, clinical incidents in a day, and 240 transports. So in a 24-hour period, we stay busy. Where we currently have 421 full-time budgeted positions, and 395 of those are uniform. Some of those positions right now are in our training academy, a current training class, which is getting ready to, they're just wrapping up their 3 months in the classroom and scenarios and driver training and everything else that we throw at them. And they're going to begin their field internship starting this weekend. They'll be doing the first, they call it immersion round. They'll be riding third before they go into the training trucks, where they'll be basically operating as a regular ambulance with two trainees with a training officer, and hands-on for the next 3 months, completing their training. And then when they successfully pass that, we get promoted from recruit to EMT, and we'll get notice out for that ceremony as well. In field operations, Boston EMS, we operate 21 BLS units, 5 ALS units from 16 stations citywide during peak hours. So it's principally the day and evening shift. At our lowest ebb, we come down to 14 ambulances covering the city between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. We try to match our resources to our call volume as best we can. Several crews shift change at a station, then repose to a more strategic location, which is determined by call volume. So there's more ambulances than there are stations. So some places we do have to double up and then go out and do coverage. And on that map on there is a map which denotes ambulance stations, as well as where Boston EMS ambulances are posted. Okay, in dispatch operations, our 911 calls are handled by uniformed members of Boston EMS. They're all EMTs. They were all field certified. They all went through the exact same training to come in to be competent in the field. Some of them work both sides, as you will. They work in the ambulance. Some then go in, they take this additional training program up in dispatch ops, where they go through much more training, where they get certified to do emergency medical dispatch, work with the state's E911 system, and now text to 911 and every other thing that gets involved in call entry, call screening, prioritizing calls for dispatch, dispatching. And then we had CMED, where we coordinate field units with hospitals, notifications to hospitals, or coordinate disaster coverage or the distribution of patients at large events, such as at the bombing back in 2013. A lot of success for our patients system-wide was due to the fact that patients were very evenly distributed, particularly the critical patients, where our CMED, utilizing our system there, we were able to distribute to get the right patient to the right hospital at the right time. That was particularly life-saving that day and really every day. We have a research, training, and quality improvement division. It has a full-time accredited training academy. It provides continuing education for all uniformed personnel. Tonight we start another 24-hour training cycle where we'll be training on all 3 shifts. It's a rigorous 6-month training program for new EMTs and a 3-month internship for paramedics who get promoted here as well. We have simulation labs up there, as well as other equipments. And most importantly, for recruitment purposes, we have an affordable basic EMT course, which is open to the public, which we've recently made it. We give priority status to Boston residents to take that class, and if there's still seats available, we would open it up to non-Boston residents. But right now, we fill it up quickly with Boston residents who are hoping to become certified as EMTs, so they could take our entrance exam. On the next slide, we have our Special Operations and Emergency Preparedness Division. Last year, they supported 849 special events across the city. That keeps growing every year. We have a couple of big ones this weekend. One out, neck of the woods, Council of Boston Calling, and out at Harvard Stadium. The last few years, we've that's a 3-day event, and we've taken all our special events. The premise of our planning going in is that we want to cover the event, cover the spectators, the talent, the concert goers, or whatever the event is. Take care of the public safety officials who are there as well, because sometimes it's in hot weather in the summer, what have you, or cold weather when you're doing a sports parade when the Patriots win again. But our goal is to make sure that we don't ever either strip the neighborhoods for coverage or have them have to wait for ambulance response because we're tied up taking care of maybe multiple minor injuries or getting multiple responses at an event. So that's our plan again this weekend for that. We will have medical stations on site there. We're going to have our EMS physicians there as well, so we can maybe, if we have to, even treat and release some people, which normally only physicians can direct that because we're obligated to transport unless somebody refuses. That'll make us a little bit more efficient. And whenever we meet, and even in this case with the promoters, we've insisted they have to hire a certain amount of coverage because even with that last year, we once or twice had to bring in either ambulance 14 or ambulance 9 to help us out with the transport, and our goal really is not to do that. But that's just an example I'm highlighting because it starts tomorrow. Right. Just to let you know. We also have the Run to Remember this weekend, along with some other events, and now we're going to host a Stanley Cup party on the plaza here Monday night. So, so our special operations and events will be busy. We do extensive planning and coordination efforts with the city and regional partners around things like, obviously, like the marathon or tall ships or what have you. But we do a lot of training and exercise to prepare our personnel for all hazards. Whether it's a few years ago we geared up for the potential of taking care of patients with Ebola, which there were preparations around the country when there was some of the cases cropped up in Texas, and we'll do special training for that. We'll do special training around other threats, whether it's radiological emergencies or nerve agent, anything that you can consider that we should plan for in advance, we do there. We've been doing a lot of training now. We've been rolling out more training with the Boston Police for incidents where to coordinate efforts between police, fire, and EMS, should there be some sort of mass shooting, should there be some sort of, vehicles into crowds, things we see around the world. We've already have had bombings here, but we still keep practicing that because you have to consider that, even though hopefully it's never going to happen again. We have Community Initiatives Bureau. They do public safety, life-saving skills education. Their president